It's almost the new year and the market continues to dive deeper into the ground. The S&P is down 19.96%, the Dow Jones is down 9.41%, Nasdaq is down 31.5%, and my personal portfolio is down 30.24% year to date. The federal fund rate for 2022 to December is 4.25 to 4.50%, which is a huge bump up from 2021, which is around 0.08%. Hey, it's Stannis, and I talk about investing and financial topics and my personal journey to wealth. And today we're going to look closer into the ongoing recession and when it could possibly end and what to do to make the most out of it and come out ahead of everyone else. You can see the actual change when you go to apply for a new credit card and notice that the annual percentage rate, APR, on your credit card or potential loan has become more expensive. Same thing with taking on margin and brokerage accounts. They have also increased due to the Fed's rate increase. The only benefit from an increase in the Fed's fund rate to average American is that savings accounts tend to yield a higher savings rate, which can be seen on some online banking companies like Ally Bank or Robinhood Gold, which now gives you 4% return if you have the Gold subscription, which is $5 a month. If your bank did not increase your savings rate, and if it still greatly underperforms in this category, then looking for a new savings account might be beneficial for you. Currently, inflation rates are at 7.75%, generally meaning cost of goods are going to be more expensive than they were in the past. Keep in mind, this does not mean not every item will increase by 7.75%, but you will most definitely notice the increase in prices if you haven't already noticed it so far. We will probably see more of a bear market in 2023, but how long can this recession last? Well, I'm not Nostradamus, but the bear market will probably continue until we see a decline of inflation back to normal levels, which are around 3.8%. That means we have to decrease inflation by 3.95% to bring it back to its average, which could take years. According to Thomas Havnerick and Marek Rusnak, writing in the International Journal of Central Banking, conducted a meta-analysis of 67 published studies of the time lag. They concluded the average transmission log is 29 months. They also found the time lag to be longer on average in developed countries such as the United States. The actual time lags are distributed over time with small effects felt quickly, which then build into substantial effects and then taper off. A figure such as 29 months should be taken as the mean of the impacts. Keeping this in mind, that means we could possibly see higher inflation rates until 2025 of August. This can be longer or shorter depending on how monetary policy continues. It will be a difficult task since most of what is being done today will not be realized until years in the future. Now, if you're anything like me and you thought about the last time we created money out of thin air back in 2020, you might think about how awesome it was to receive some extra money from the government. I hate to say, but we had our cake and we as a country try to eat it too. Now, in the end of 2022, we are seeing higher inflation and higher interest rates, but unemployment is still very low at 3.7%, which is very low compared to the last 20 years. There have been some job cuts from bigger companies such as Goldman Sachs, DoorDash, Amazon, Meta, and Twitter recently, but I believe more job cuts are coming as companies begin to slow down on advancements and the retail consumers' pockets begin to dry up. As Murat Tashi says, historically unemployment has always increased whenever the aggregate economy experienced a recession, but the rate typically peaks about 15 months after the beginning of the recession or 4 months at the end of recession, and then starts to drop gradually over time as the economy recovers. If we take this research and add 15 months to the start of the most recent recession being 2 consecutive quarters of negative gross domestic product, then we could possibly see the peak of unemployment around August 2023. So if you believe you are expendable in your job, making sure you have enough money set aside and other streams of income is quite important just in case you can see yourself being removed from your company due to an economic downturn. The main downfall that will cause a death spiral for average Americans going into recession and living through it are the possibility of you losing your job, which then leads you to using your emergency fund to support your lifestyle for the next couple of months while you try to find work. Or if you don't have an emergency fund, or if it's not as big as you would like it, to be, then downsizing your current living status to either moving back home or bringing in a roommate might be a better option to help you ease the burden. Some people will fall into heavy credit card use, but as we covered earlier in the video, you'll be paying an even higher interest rate than normal, making it harder for you to pay it back once you do get a job. Worst case scenario, you're unable to find a job and you have now racked up thousands in credit card debt, which leads you to filing for bankruptcy, which will destroy your credit and hurt your chances for qualifying for bigger items down the line. Your greatest protection from this reality is job security and having savings or other income that you can rely on. Other ways to reduce the effects of recession will be reducing your own spending. A great portion of Americans will most likely have to move back to home or begin using lines of credit if they were to lose their job due to the statistic of 42% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings, and an average American savings account balance is $4,500. It's quite scary to look at these numbers and understand how devastating a wave of unemployment can swing the economy negatively. If your job security is very high and you have no worries of losing a great amount of money in a recession, then you're in a great position to come out on top. Buy low and sell high is probably the most known quote related to investing, and this quote is the most true for most opportunities during a recession. Reason being, the most stocks and real estate tend to decrease in value during the short term due to a lack of economic growth and stimulation by the masses. The catch is that only people who are capable of supporting their needs at this time are capable to participate in this opportunity. In other words, the rich get richer and the poor people continue to lose their buying power over time. With this in mind, you have to make sure your basic necessities are met so you can buy the dip. Also, remember to not try to time the market, but do continue to dollar cost average in investments you find are at great values. Being heavy with cash reserves will also help you when huge changes in the market do eventually happen. My personal plans for this period are going to primarily focus on investing into undervalued stocks so I can finally reach 100K in 2023, while also trying to invest in my YouTube channel to increase the quality that goes into them. I also intend on buying some real estate in the coming months, but it will probably be closer to the middle of 2023. My savings rate will maintain around the same percent or even go up depending on how much items increase in price. Although recessions are nothing like a bull market where people can get wealthy blindly and copious amounts of spending occurs and people are employed, recessions are inevitable and those who are ready will prosper. If you enjoyed the video and want to continue to hear about similar topics, like and subscribe. If you have any questions about what was discussed, I will reply to your comments. Thanks for watching. I'm Stannis and I will see you next week. Peace.